Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TW Podcast. You are with me, your host, the Wambo, and a very warm welcome to you. So, on our today's topic, we are going to look at something that we looked at on the last episode, but it is very similar because it still talks about toxic relationships. But now we're going to look at the difference between being toxic and being an abuser. I repeat, we're going to look at the difference between being toxic and being an abuser. So last time we said a toxic relationship is characterized by these behaviors. They will make you feel unhappy. If you are in a toxic relationship, you are unhappy. There is dishonesty in your relationship. There is a controlling behavior and a lot of lack of support. So that is a toxic relationship. And in this toxic relationship, both partners can show behaviors of being toxic. So in a toxic relationship, both partners can act, as being toxic. But now here comes the difference between a toxic relationship and an abusive relationship. An abusive relationship, one has to be the abuser and the other one has to be a victim. An abusive relationship, on the other hand, is there has to be an abuser. One has to be an abuser and the other one has to be the victim. So in an abusive relationship, not all of them can be the abuser. One has to dominate. One has to control. And the other has to be a victim. But in a toxic relationship, both of them don't support each other. Both of them are as toxic. Do you understand? But on an abusive relationship, one has to be an abuser and the other one has to be a victim. So an abusive relationship, the abuser is always in control. They make conclusion, they make choices, and they behave in damaging ways. So it is all about manipulation to them. It's all about domination to them. For example, of an abusive, person or being in an abusive relationship. When your better half says, I said it and I said it, and it will not be done any other way. I said it the way I said it, and it will be done the way I said it. That is being an abusive person because you did not give this person, a chance to even think, you already made your decision. I said what I said, and it will be done the way I said. That is an abusive person. An abuser always calculates. They plan things ahead and they calculate things ahead. They calculate in their head the way they're going to do things without involving you. So a typical abuser starts by being toxic. This is just a toxic person, but has escalated to now domination. This is a toxic person who has escalated to now domination, to even showing violence. So they start with emotional and mental abuse that escalates to physical and sometimes sexual abuse. So they think, they plan ahead. So for instance, if it is a toxic man, he says, when I shove her, she will do what I want. That is an abusive person because he needs to physically, engage with her physically, beat her up, become violent so that this woman or this particular person can do what he wants. Or if it is a woman, when I spill the water, he will take the situation seriously. There's some people or there's some women who do not know how to speak to the other person in the right way. They need to slap them. They need to spill water on them. If it is a man, when he shoves her to the ground, when he slaps her, that is when that is when they're going to the situation is going to be taken seriously. That right there is in an abusive relationship. So an abuser is also masters of gaslighting. In the last episode, we talked about what a gaslighting is. So an abuser is also masters of gaslighting. They control everything in the relationship, be it financial, be it sexual. They control everything. So the abuser wants to manage and be in charge. That is what an abuser is. They want to be in charge of that person's life, who they can see, what they can do, who to speak to. That is an abuser. An abuser also, they will impose their opinions and their ways restlessly over others. They want to impose their options. Must I believe in what you're believing in? That is, they want you to believe as they do believe. They want to impose their opinions on you. Their views is the only one that matters. Yours doesn't matter. Their views first. An abuser will not change. And those in that kind of a relationship, they need to go. So I'll talk about a little bit about toxic relationship. But you see, that is the major difference. A toxic relationship, there is a bit of freedom in it. There's you can talk to each other even if you're throwing words at each other, even if you're arguing. At least there is freedom of speech. But in an abusive relationship, there is no freedom of speech. If you talk, it ends up in violence. And the abusive or the abuser is always right. But in a toxic relationship, both of you do not support each other. Both of you are as toxic. In an abusive relationship, there is the abuser and there is the victim. So thank you guys for listening in today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it teaches you something, and definitely you learned something. And so next time, I always say next time, come with a friend or a friend and tell them that TW Podcast is, an educative platform, and it is also a fun platform. So see you guys. See you on the next episode.